All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, makers. We are finally here. It is Legends of Lightning Finals Day. Thank you to everyone who has been patiently waiting behind the scenes. Some of the folks at the African Bitcoin Conference in Accra in Ghana, there has been a little bit of delay there. So we've just been waiting, but we're here to sort of give you some waffle and talk a little bit about some of the finalists before we kick off. So before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of this tournament. We've been running for 8 weeks and we couldn't have done it without them. So first up, Folger Ventures. Huge round of applause for these guys. They've put up 2.5 Bitcoin in prizes. They've helped us out with running the tournament, everything behind the background. They've been super helpful organizing it. So huge thanks to Oleg and his team. Folger, you guys have done an amazing job. And then obviously the next one, which is more applicable to the track, which we'll be talking about today, is the Africa Bitcoin Conference. As I said, on the ground in Ghana right now, it is happening. So that is actually where our pitches are going to be taking place from. So they will be live. So we'll see how the mechanics of the stage work, but that's all part of the fun. So just to get into it today, as I sort of mentioned, the African Bitcoin Conference are going to be sponsoring the track, the Building for Africa track, which is one of 2 tracks in the tournament, which has been focusing on solutions local to the African continent. So we partnered up with them. We came up with 4 prizes for this track. So there's a first place, second place, third place, and best design award, because we're designers. We always want to incentivize it. And so in partnership with them, what we wanted to do is, like I said, create solutions that are local and solve challenges in Africa and increase Bitcoin adoptions by Africans. So I don't know if anyone's been watching the event over there. There is a live stream on YouTube, which we'll be getting into shortly. But there's been some amazing keynotes, some really interesting fireside chats, and definitely some awesome presentations by the likes of Jack Mallers, Jack Dorsey. We've obviously got some of the participants taking part as well. And really, they've just been kind of diving into why a lot of these solutions are needed, why Bitcoin helps fix these. And so if you haven't already, definitely check out some of those talks. They have been super interesting. So just to give you a bit of a recap of the track before we kind of get into the finals, we had 12 projects enter over the course of the first 6 weeks, and then obviously we've had a couple of weeks for the finalists to really put the finishing touches on their projects and get everything in place. So thank you everyone who did enter this track. It was really interesting to see some of the solutions get built, but after some judging and some evaluation by some experts in the Lightning space, we finally narrowed it down to 8 finalists. So I just want to meet the finalists, come through, talk a little bit about what they're doing, what they solve, and then we'll get into it from there. So the first project that we have up is Africa Free Routing. So Megazli and Afrikola are behind this project. They've done a fantastic job. And what they're trying to do is basically increase the amount of node activity across Africa and create free Bitcoin Lightning payments for the African continent. I think a lot of the proceeds as well of the project actually go to people local on the ground. So it's a really cool initiative and really awesome to see. So looking forward to hearing from them. We've also got some folks who have been doing some translations. So obviously when we talk about language and accessibility, Johnson and I talk about this a lot with design as well. One of the biggest hurdles that people come across is obviously this language barrier. And most importantly, for those of you who have ever created a Bitcoin wallet and taken down a mnemonic phrase or a sort of a seed phrase, more commonly known as, you'll notice that 99.99% of the time, these things are in English. Sometimes they'll be given a digit code, but generally speaking, they're English words. So what these guys have been doing is they've been translating the mnemonic word list into Swahili. So super cool initiative and really nice to see that. We also have the agreement team. So what these guys have built is really, really impressive. But essentially what they're trying to do is they're building a self-sovereign microbanking infrastructure for agricultural communities across Africa. They're doing this with a mixture of software and hardware. I think that they've been using some hardware wallets to create sort of like multi-sig savings funds, as well as obviously kind of like a day-to-day spending application. So huge hats off to these guys. Next up, we have Banksess, which is a peer-to-peer Bitcoin-only exchange in Senegal. So I actually didn't know this before the tournament, but Senegal currently doesn't have any Bitcoin-only exchanges and certainly not much of peer-to-peer. So this is definitely a needed solution, and I'm looking forward to kind of hearing a little bit more about this. Bit Payroll. So you may recognize some of these hackers from some of our first events as well. But what they are doing is they're using Bitcoin to create a payroll system. So obviously, if you run a Bitcoin company, if you're paying your employees in Bitcoin, sometimes it is quite hard to manage that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to build an all-in-one web application where employees, bosses, all the likes can employ people and pay them in Bitcoin and keep them on the payroll, and basically automating a lot of it as they go. Another cool one. This is a solution which, for me, I think personally solves a lot of issues. We've seen LMVPN; they've been pretty active on Twitter as well. And Light Rider has been doing some great things. We met him for the first time in El Salvador as well. But what they're doing is essentially it's a Lightning-only VPN and privacy provider. So, Johns, do you maybe want to talk for a few seconds about like just the importance of privacy? Because actually, I know that this is your topic. People talk about it a lot. Yeah, what's your take on this one? Just before we move on.
Well, privacy is everyone's topic, right? It should be everyone's topic. And I have like a little tricky relationship with like VPNs and stuff because I typically try to set them up myself instead of like using these like ones where you put in your credit cards and all those kind of things. Because if you do want this privacy and you have these large companies which are kind of like consolidating all your traffic data, there's a bunch of providers that do that. You're kind of like still tying you're getting KYC'd essentially. So yeah, there's a lot of people who don't have access to credit cards either. And this seems like a perfect solution for Bitcoin as well, right? You can pay for a VPN access for a certain amount of time, and be able to, like watch Netflix or something if you're away from home. If you're in the US and you want to watch Netflix or you want to look at the YouTube channel for that specific region and stuff. Yeah, so privacy is something that is definitely needing to be more accessible, and payments as well is a big problem in accessing some of these tools. So yeah, I think it's a really great project.
So wait, Johns, you're telling me that we can now Netflix and chill from abroad?
Yes, it seems so. It seems so. I
Nice.
had I had a bunch of those issues growing up in St. Lucia as well. I remember even like we didn't have access to what do you call it? Someone says wash one says wash hands. I didn't have access to iTunes and the App Store, so I had to use like a US address and like these gift cards to access iTunes to be able to like get apps and stuff. So definitely we need more Bitcoin payments in these kind of services.
Definitely, totally agree, and definitely agree with that. We need to make privacy a bit more accessible. Like you said, it's everyone's game, it's everyone's problem.
Exactly.
Or at least it's no one's problem until they realize it's their problem, right? I think that's sometimes the crux with privacy. So yeah, big shout out to LMVPN. They've been doing some great stuff. So another project which is really exciting is Pennybit. So we kind of spoke about this one in length on the Meet the Finalists call that we had on Thursday of last week. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to do sort of social payments for young Africans. So I think we spoke about a project called Abeg, right? Which is kind of, they did similar stuff like social payments, trying to get younger people into neobanking, giving them tools, payment tools, things like this, making it a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier to use. And I think that certainly we can definitely do that as well with younger people when it comes to Bitcoin. So how can we make it really easy to pay a friend or a contact? Sorry, there's just like something that we've been focusing on quite a lot is this content
You like, I think at this point it's become like context is becoming a troll for me now. Like, I've moved on to Zendesk now. Customer service.
Well, I mean, like we are unofficially sponsored by Bitfinex today, but I feel like maybe what I need to get is contacts. I need contacts on my hat instead. But yeah, we've been shilling this idea of contacts for a little while. So I think that Benny Bit have done it. I want to see more sort of social payments, and definitely getting a younger crowd into Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin is for everyone. I actually saw a really interesting thread the other day, which Pavle did, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw this. Yeah, shout out to Pavle. He was talking about basically, this UX problem of like, how can my grandma use this? And he was just like, your grandma's not going to use it. Like, let's stop designing for her. Let's start designing for young people coming in who maybe familiar with some of these UX issues, or at least they're more familiar with kind of sort of experience design, interaction, and things like that. So yes, we do have an eye on this past, right? But we've also got to have this eye on the future.
Yeah, that's a bit controversial one. I didn't engage with it. I didn't have it passed me by, but I was thinking about this because I was with Mike in New York. Mike, Musman journalist from Lightning Ventures, and he was saying like for one of our like next events, maybe we should have like a pitch your grandma. Oh no, actually no, this was Nor. Nor was telling me this. Pitch your grandma. Um, Kind of like sessions. So like every week, projects will have to like pitch it to the grandma, like a dedicated grandma. So instead of like a list of mentors or something that you could like choose to like help work with you to improve your project, it'll be like picking a grandma. And at that point, if you're able to do that, then if you're able to onboard a grandma and she doesn't have any question, then that's going to be a pretty big feat to rack up some points like that. But anyway.
Yeah, I reckon I could definitely rack up some affiliate links with my grandma and some of her friends. But yeah, okay. So like one more moving on is Sats the Data. So actually a couple of these hackers are also building on another project, which is really exciting, which is the Africa Free Routing node. But this is a solution which personally I think is really cool. We did some research in the last couple of years with a project called Bed Money, where we looked at sort of banking infrastructure and payments in sort of frontier economies. And we noticed obviously how many people are using airtime and data for payments, right? So it makes sense to me, this one. There's been a lot of hype also around like the Mashinkura project and having like USSD payments or having Lightning over sort of SMS, like text. And for me, this is another really cool one, like being able to buy Bitcoin and Lightning. Being able to buy airtime and data with Bitcoin and Lightning payments is super important. So really excited for that one. So these are all of the finalists. I do see that Femi is now up on stage actually. So we're going to get him up. We're going to hand it over to him and we will stop waffling, but we'll be back probably in about 45 minutes.
Society, but also that actually help Africans live better and stronger lives. Ahead of the conference, for the last 2 months, we've been running a virtual hackathon called Legends of Lightning, which has been looking at actual concrete solutions that improve Bitcoin adoption. There's a specific track in the Legends of Lightning hackathon called the Build for Africa track. And in the Build for Africa track, we made a call for people who have ideas that will solve real problems in Africa, or solutions that actually help increase adoption of Bitcoin in Africa. What you're going to hear today will be presentations from the 8 finalists that we have. The top 3, the winner of the Africa track of the hackathon will win $5,000. The second will win $2,000, and the third will win $1,500. And there'll be an extra prize for design, which will be $1,000. And the winners in the Africa track will then also have the opportunity to be part of the global grand prize, which is 1 BTC for the winner and half a BTC for the second place. There are 8 ideas that are going to be pitched today. These guys have been working on them, some of them for months, some of them for quite a while. Not all of them are in the room today. So I'm going to share a few who've done their pitches via video. And those in the room will actually come out and pitch. They have 5 minutes each for their pitch. Unfortunately, because of time, we won't have time for questions. But I'd say if you have any question, if you have any idea, if you're interested in supporting them, if you're an investor, an angel investor, a VC, a developing code, you have APIs that you think would work for their solutions, you can meet them and feel free to engage them once the session is done. All right? Without further ado, our first pitch is Africa free routing. Can I have it on screen? So it's going to be a video pitch. Africa free routing. Can we give them a hand?
Hello, my name is Megis Lee. I am the node runner of the Africa Free Routing node. I'm also one of the team members at African Bitcoiners. We are very excited to meet. Hello, my name is Megis Lee. I am the node runner of the Africa Free Routing node. I'm also one of the team members at African Bitcoiners. We are very excited to make it to this phase of the tournament and want to give a really big shout out to all the makers out there. You've all built amazing projects, and we want to say thank you for all you do for Bitcoin and Lightning. This is our story. Africa Free Routing is a Bitcoin Lightning node and soon to be a network operated by African Bitcoiners. And our sole aim is to put Africa firmly on the Lightning payments map. We have a mission to bring freedom to Africa through Bitcoin, and central to that will be the Lightning Network. However, when we looked at the map of Lightning nodes in Africa, we were disappointed to see this. So we decided to change that because long-term Lightning payments need to be near instant. So we can't be hopping our Bitcoin all over the world. We also wanted to do something different, and we're inspired by the model pioneered by Zero Fee Routing to charge no routing fees and instead pay the bills by selling liquidity. This gives us a very clearly defined customer. African retailers wanting to accept payment, node operators wanting African liquidity. It also helps our mission because it will even further diminish the cost of Lightning transaction. And so we were born in August 2022, and the ride has been nothing short of amazing. The first month was quiet. We built a few channels and made one sale, thanks to crypto converts in South Africa. Then September just exploded and ended up with us being the second fastest growing node in the world for the month. We came second in the exponential layer competition, and they gifted us 20,000 sats. We then gave these sats to the kids at Bitcoin Academy because at the end of the day, that's why we're here, to help, particularly through Bitcoin education, where all our proceeds to date have gone. We are in this for the mission, not the money. Fast forward to today. We have just passed 6 BTC capacity, well over 100 channels, and growing every day. We are so incredibly grateful to the Bitcoin community for all their support and advice. In particular, we want to acknowledge Voltage, who are currently sponsoring our node. Their team, shout out to Nate, is amazing. We wouldn't have been able to afford to do this without them. Next, we plan to grow into Africa's largest and fastest network of Bitcoin Lightning nodes. It's that simple. Apart from improving our online customer experience, including automating purchases, our goals for the next year are: 1. 500 channels across our node network. 2. 50 BTC total capacity. 3. 5 nodes in Africa. And 4. 1 BTC revenue. We need help finding Bitcoin friendly hosting partners across Africa. And then in time, we're going to need investors of Bitcoin capital to help grow our capacity to 1000 BTC by 2025. We are confident that we will be able to offer them a 1 to 2% return on their Bitcoin, and hopefully some clever engineer will build a great way for investors to still hold their keys. So who are the builders of Africa Free Routing? Well, you guessed right. Yeah, it's me, Megas Lee. I am the node runner of the Africa Free Routing node. I was a complete novice to setting up nodes, but with a growth mindset and a lot of grit and curiosity, I was able to pull it off. I'm very passionate about Bitcoin adoption in Africa. Alongside with me are my colleagues, Sarah White, M, Koala, and Africolia. Together, we are fighting to bring freedom to Africa through Bitcoin. Thank you for your time, attention, support, and love. We really appreciate.
Coming straight from Senegal. Unfortunately, he can't attend the conference, but Nuru will be talking about Banksas. Can we have Banksas on the screen?
Hello guys. This is Nuru. I'm the creator of Bankers. So Bankers is a solution we developed from A to Z, and it's a marketplace that would allow Senegalese people, population, to buy and sell Bitcoin, a P2P style, with our local currency, the XOF, and using our local payment method. This is an exchange. So a lot of people would say, oh, another exchange, but this is an innovation for us. When you live in Europe or United States or some part of Asia and you want to buy or sell some Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, it's so easy. You have too many ways. You can do full KYC, you can do partial KYC, you even have solutions for no KYC. So when you're Senegalese, you don't have all those solutions. So you need to open an account on some big exchanges. We'll provide some IDs. Sometimes they will refuse you because they don't have a way to verify your identity. So you have a lot of difficulties to have access to a platform to buy and sell Bitcoin. And all those platforms, most of the time, they are not built for Africans. So you have to adapt. So that's why we decided to create Bankers. It's in 2 steps, you can buy your Bitcoins. In 3 steps, you can sell your Bitcoins. So what is easier than that? You can use the local payment method. In Europe, people use credit card, debit card, wire transfer. Now you have instant payment. But in Senegal, you don't have all these ways. You have 2% of the population, they have a banking account. 40% of the population, they have a mobile money wallet. So we decided to include the mobile money wallet inside our solutions. So if you use Senegalese, or if you come just to Senegal for tourism or for business and you want to buy or sell Bitcoin for some cash, what you can do is just log into Bankers, You create an account, we just ask you for your email address or your cell phone number. That's it. No KYC. And then you can post an announce or you can choose an announce. And in 2 or 3 steps, you can buy and sell your Bitcoin. And finally, you don't keep any Bitcoin. We push everyone after you buy it in our platform to withdraw it. So yeah, we won't be on FTX. So this is Bunkers, guys, and I hope you would appreciate it. You can already test it on test.bunkers.com and let me know what you think about it. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
We're going to see a quick demo of the app. The video.
Started 6 years ago, but actually found out a lot of inefficiencies. So that's what actually brought me to build on top of Bitcoin, and found a great team with me and some other guys to build what we call a self-sovereign micro banking solution for informal uh, financial groups. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. There are almost or more than 500 million people in global south that are actually part of these informal savings and loan groups. They're actually doing what you see on the screen. They're basically saving in metal cash boxes. They have some people from the community that have the keys, and they share the responsibility. But these people, they have challenges. First of all, they save in cash. So this puts their savings in certain risks, like risk of theft or embezzlement. And they save in, obviously, their local currency. So this is, as you have heard many times during the conference, at risk of inflation, sometimes hyperinflation. So it's not really convenient for long-term capital or, accumulation or savings. And finally, their activity remains informal. I mean, there's some maybe books that they write on. This is what I've seen personally, but this is not data that is able after that to generate some kind of credit worthiness or trust in order for them to attract external capital to develop their community activities. So that's how we came up with a solution. And the solution is to empower these communities to become practically fully equivalent to a community bank through open source technology. And our technology, our solution, is basically providing full-fledged services, financial services, digital financial services to these communities, including the fact that they elect guardians to safeguard or safekeep the digital keys to the, obviously to the vaults, not to the metal cash box, but to the digital vault. And then members can save. They can pay inside the community, but also outside through Lightning and receive payments through Lightning. Not only just in Bitcoin, but also in a stable asset like US dollar, but we are also thinking about other local currencies for convenience purposes. And most probably importantly of all, they have access, members have access to this digital financial services through USSD, which is the non-internet connected feature phone's way to communicate with this kind of solution. Of course, we were very much inspired by what Machankura is doing. The secret sauce behind is how to make this very simple, very easy. And we spent, because we actually made the team like almost 2 months ago, we spent most of this time to envision a very simple solution, very easy to get onboarded. Not really fully self-custody. We are providing a cloud infrastructure which is practically automating the provisioning of all the Fedimint nodes, all the Lightning nodes, but in a trust minimized way, really secured in the way that we, as provider, technology provider, cannot like basically embezzle something. And then we provide that both as a software as a service in terms of subscription model, but also for communities who feel empowered enough to do that on their own. They can run it, they can take ownership completely and run it on their own. So we are just facilitating this onboarding, but we are not kind of exclusively locking them in. Our team, as you see, we're an international team coming from Africa and Europe. We've been doing this type of activity for quite a while, but also we have a broad spectrum of product design, hardware and software. Why hardware? Because one very important part of our project is also very cheap hardware device, under $20 in terms of cost, to further secure the community custody. And what are the next steps? First of all, we are focusing on our next testing on the ground, go to market, in order to understand really what is the feedback of these kind of communities. We'll contribute not just to our own project, but also to Fedimint as a core component. And of course, after we prove and we establish the need, we'll fundraise in order to be able to scale. So reaching out to all of you who have thoughts about connections to communities or something that you can help actually prove this on the ground, really talk to us. We are here today, tomorrow. We'll be very happy to meet you and discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is a video presentation, and the team is called Sats to Data. Can we have the video for Sats to Data?
Hi there. This is M. Hi there. This is M from the African Bitcoiners team and maker for Sats to Data. It is such an honor to be among the finalists. A big shout out to all makers who contributed to this tournament. We say thank you for all you do for the Bitcoin and Lightning space. Sats to Data is the fastest way to buy data with Bitcoin Lightning. The project was a spin-off from our Bitcoin for Beginners short course, whereby we wanted to educate Africans about Bitcoin and also reward them with 10,000 sats after completing the course and passing the final quiz. While the course was one side of the coin, which is Bitcoin education in Africa, we still needed to show people how easy it is to spend those sats on a day-to-day basis. Here lies the second part of the coin, which is Bitcoin adoption in Africa. Our aim is to show these new Bitcoiners that they can also get value for Bitcoin. Therefore, we thought to ourselves, what can one exchange for Bitcoin on a daily affair? And we zeroed in on airtime and data bundles. There, my friends, was how SARS to data was born. Having said all that, let's now understand the problems this awesome project hopes to tackle. According to data from Chainalysis, we can say that Africa is one of the fastest growing Bitcoin markets in the world. Yet in Africa, the use of Bitcoin is very limited to either savings, trading purposes, or fiat exchange to enable individuals to spend on their day-to-day basic needs. Also, people have to exchange Bitcoin for fiat because there are limited places to spend Bitcoin as Bitcoin. If we hope to speed track the Bitcoin adoption process, we need more spend locations for Bitcoin. Then, there is also a small percentage of Bitcoiners who aren't exactly new to the fight and perhaps already have Bitcoin stacked away, but still have zero clue what Bitcoin can do for them and how they can get value for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin adoption to become a thing, there is a need for indigenous products that are easy to understand and use. So basically, we can say that SAT to data is a really simple project that enables users to top up their smartphones with airtime or data using Bitcoin and the fascinating speed of lightning. Therefore, our goal here is to help Africans understand that Bitcoin is more than just hard money that should be converted to fiat when there is need to spend. And we do believe that if people can purchase basic day-to-day necessities with Bitcoin, then we are on a clear road to a world of Bitcoin only. SARS to Data is a product of the African Bitcoiners team, developed by myself and my colleague Megasley. Though it was a somewhat challenging project based on our current skill sets, we are proud of the outcome nevertheless, and do hope that our users get to experience how Bitcoin can be a part of their daily life. Now, let's see a demonstration of how to use SAT to data. At the moment, this project is targeted for members of the African community who has access to smartphones and internet. But of course, we are not limited to that in the bigger picture. On SaaS to Data roadmap, we have certain things we plan to implement to the project. First off is changes to the user experience. We are working towards getting a project designer who is passionate about Bitcoin to join the team. Then we equally plan to build out a Telegram bot service via which users can purchase airtime and data. Also, we are already onto integrating Albi for easier web lightning payments. After all this, we can then consider some marketing plans. However, our goal is always to have such a good service that word of mouth drives our sellers. In conclusion, we at African Bitcoiners aim to bring freedom to Africa through Bitcoin and work tirelessly to ensure we are moving steadily but surely towards our goal. We will apply the same tenacity to SaaS to data to make sure Bitcoin adoption in Africa becomes successful.
One last video presentation, and then we'll have 3 in-person pitches. So LNVPN video.
So hello everyone to this short pitch and introduction video about LNVPN. So hello everyone to this short pitch and introduction video about LNVPN. I will give you a quick walkthrough about the features and tell you a little bit about the project. So the LNVPN is basically a VPN provider, which is Lightning only, because Lightning gives the person who is paying for something very good privacy. And we believe that many VPN providers do a bad job when they offer credit card payments or PayPal payments, because many people in Africa don't have credit cards or also PayPal. And anyways, it's not a good idea to pay for privacy features with such KYC tools. So what we have here is you select a server. We have various endpoints. We have a server in each of these countries where we have a WireGuard API, and we don't have any backend, like we don't have a database where all our users are, so there's absolutely no data collection. And you can generate your own connection keys here in the browser, but you don't have to. The private key never touches the backend. We have also an endpoint in Kenya, which we are very proud of. We have also Nigeria and Ghana in the pipeline. So if you are, for example, a dissident or someone who just wants to upload some documents and you need the VPN just for 1 hour, then you can use it for 1 hour, but you can also use it for longer. For example, for 3 months, it's $9, or it's $3 a month. It's very cheap. So yeah, when I've decided which endpoint and how long I want to use it, I can create a Lightning invoice. I can open the invoice, pay with my wallet. Then I get back a QR code. I can scan this QR code with my phone, for example. When I want to use the VPN on my phone, now you see it's the Kenya endpoint, but I want to download this file, WireGuard. And then I go to my WireGuard app, I import the tunnel from a file. I go to the Kenya WireGuard conf. Now I have the tunnel, I activate it, and now it's live. So let's see what my IP address is now. It was in Germany before, but now you see it's in Nairobi. So this is one of the features. LNB now you see it's in Nairobi. So this is one of the features. LNB telephone number, let's say Germany, and then I also choose Twitter. I generate now a telephone number. First of all, I get a Lightning invoice again. I will pay the invoice, this time with my Moon wallet. And then I should get a one-time usage telephone number. And to this telephone number, I can send a verification key. And this verification key will be displayed here soon after it's still confirming on Moon. Sometimes takes a little bit. So perfect. Now here's the number. I copy the number, paste it in, and I see that this number is maybe already used. Next one. Okay. Now they will send the validation code to this one. Let's get back, and now we just wait for the validation code to come. here is the validation code. I copy paste it, and here I click verify, and that's it. I have changed my phone number without doing any KYC stuff, and so yeah, that's basically it. And we have also FAQ where you can see everything in more detail. And yeah, in the future, I think we want to integrate way more other privacy features. If you want to reach out, we are on Twitter. You can see our whole source code on GitHub, and also you can come in our Telegram group if you have any questions about the project. So thank you very much.
VPN. Without further ado, Penny Bits. Penny Bits.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Tobi Ojalakwe, and my partner on Pennybit is Tobi. Okay. So I don't know if my slides are up yet. Just waiting for the slides to come up. So we're really excited to have been selected as finalists for the Boat.Phone Hackathon, Legends of Lightning. And for our project, Pennybit, what we really built was a social payments platform that leverages on Bitcoin and Lightning to make it easy for young Africans to spend, earn, and learn Bitcoin. I don't know. Okay, so why? Sorry, this thing is not working. Okay, sorry. Okay. So why is this important, right? So currently, Africa is regarded as the youngest continent in the world, and that is because we have over 60% of our population below the age of 25 years old. That provides us with over 800 million people who are potential Bitcoin users. And the reason why we're focusing on young people is because you would all agree with me that young people are very easy to adopt new technology, and they are very more open-minded than the older people, right? So that is why we're trying to build a social payments platform that tries to make activities and transactions that young people already do with fiat and the normal banking systems, to try to convert all of those transactions to Bitcoin-based and Lightning-based transactions. So that was basically the idea behind Pennybit. And also because myself being a 23-year-old young African, I found it difficult at some point receiving international payments in my local bank account. And I felt, Bitcoin, has the potential to solve that problem for a lot of young people across Africa. And we think Pennybit also has potential to do that. Okay, so really the question we asked ourselves when we built this was, how might we orange build the next 1 billion young Africans? How can we make Bitcoin transactions, Lightning transactions, as easy as sending a WhatsApp message or a tweet? And that is really important because we know that not a lot of people are really interested in the technical aspect of things. Not a lot of people need to know how to code before they need to interact with Bitcoin, because the real adoption of Bitcoin will come from utility. Real adoption of Bitcoin will come from, okay, I can use Bitcoin to do these things, right? Not necessarily, oh, I can code Bitcoin. So that is the major idea that we had behind, building a platform that sort of abstracts the need to know how Bitcoin works or anything. Just perform your transactions. You can come on Pennybit right now, create an account, create an invoice, and you start receiving payments with Bitcoin. Okay, so our approach really just focused on 3 main aspects: creating an opportunity and tools that provide young Africans opportunities to learn, earn, and spend. On the learning part, Pennybit has an array of courses that are introductory to Bitcoin, so people can actually just watch very easy to learn, easy to understand explainer videos on how to get started on Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is all about. Not necessarily the technical parts, but the parts that a person can understand. For the spending part, we currently have integrated with ways for people to buy airtime and data on their phones using Bitcoin and Satoshi. And then for the earning part, we've integrated with, or we're looking to integrate with gaming platforms like Thunder Games to enable gamers to get gift cards and win Satoshis when they play games. And also we're looking to integrate with platforms that provide ways for young Africans to perform microservices or micro tasks like data annotation and things like that to actually earn money. Okay. So since we actually started working on Pennybit about 3 weeks ago when the hackathon started, and since we launched, we currently have about 20 users on our platform with a wait list of over 30,000. We actually just shared it with a couple of group chats, and you'd all agree with me that you're a lot of young people on social media, so we leverage a lot on social media to grow that waiting list. And since then, we've also been able to process about 100,000 sats. So moving forward, right, we are looking to leverage a lot more on social media platforms. A lot of young Africans are using social media a lot, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. So we want to make it easy for those people who already use those platforms to get onboarded on Pennybits. We're also looking to integrate with WhatsApp to have a way in which people can actually make and receive Lightning payments via WhatsApp. So that is also something that's in our pipeline. Then we also want to leverage a lot on student communities across various universities. So there are clusters where students currently are, and we want to leverage on that to promote Pennybits. And then finally, we're looking at third-party integrations with social media platforms that young people already use, like WhatsApp, like I mentioned earlier. With that, we're actually projecting to have about 1.2 million people in the next 5 years using Pennybits. Hopefully, we get the right support and the right mentorship to actually build this out. Thank you very much.
The next team is Afro Mnemonics.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Vlad, me and my partner, Theo. So we are wallet developers, and today we are going to share with you a tool that we believe would increase the adoption on the continent. All right, so we decided for this hackathon to build a word list. For those who don't know, a word list is just a simple group of words that is used to generate the mnemonics that come out of most of the non-custodial wallets that we use. But the problem right now is that all the non-custodial wallets that we use, they don't support any language from our continent. So we decided to build a word list for Swahili. So what we did basically is in July, we started with the dictionary, and that dictionary was reviewed by some Swahili experts. Then based on the review that we got, we're able to narrow down the dictionary and actually filter it out based on certain criteria. So basically, like you wouldn't want offensive words to be in a mnemonic list, right? So we filtered it out. So right now we've been also able to like create a PR for this particular project. So the PR is open on the Bitcoin repository. If there's anyone who knows Swahili, you're welcome to go and have a look at it. So it's not playing. There's a demo. There's a video on this slide.
Yeah. So there's a video that's supposed to be played here, but I'll just give a brief summary about it. So the first video by the right, what we were trying to look for a way to make the Afro mnemonics interoperable between wallets, because one of the concerns people had was that, okay, we already have other word lists like in Portuguese and French, but like many wallets don't implement them. They use English anyways. So how do you make the Swahili word list interoperable? So we did a little experiment. We created a translator, credits to Olawale, who also assisted us in doing this. So what we did was we created a wallet in Blue Wallet, and we got a mnemonic from it. And the mnemonic was in English. So we the translator implementation we did, we copied the mnemonic in English from Blue Wallet, and we pasted it in this translation. You can see that you can choose the language in which you want to paste. Then you kind of just put the English mnemonic that you've generated from your Blue Wallet. Then you translate it to your language of choice. And now we translated it to Swahili. So we expect that when you translate the mnemonic from English to Swahili, by the time you convert the mnemonic back to English, you should get all the history of your wallet. That is when you paste that translated mnemonic back in Blue Wallet, you should be able to get all the history of that wallet. And the mnemonic translator does exactly that. So the issues about interoperability between wallets has been solved with this translator. There's still much work to be done, but this just goes to show that regardless of the language in which you create your mnemonic, you can, convert your mnemonic to your language of choice and actually use it to recover whatever wallet history you want using that translator.
It's rather unfortunate that the demo didn't work. It was like the perfect thing. So the next steps for us, we want to get the PR merch. So as I said, if there's anyone that knows Swahili and would like to review it, you're welcome to. Hello? You're welcome to have a look at it. Then the next thing is we have a developer that is waiting to use this word list. So the developer behind Eta Wallet, he's looking forward to work on this. So while we're working on it, one of the ideas that we had is currently, as I said, we work on wallet software, right? Currently, the softwares that we use, or BDK, which is like a library for wallets, it doesn't support something like this translator. So it'd be good to have something like this in BDK. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that one thing we also plan to do is to improve the translator app for the wallet mnemonic interoperability. One feature, one PR that was recently made to the translator app was suggestions for the mnemonic. So regardless of the language you are typing on the translator, it will automatically figure out which word you want to type. Blue Wallet has this feature, but it only supports English. But now we are supporting all the languages in the BIP39 repository. So we hope this PR gets merged, and we hope to see where this takes us.
So sincere apologies for the issues with the video. It's all on me. Last but not the least is Beat Payroll.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samson Olusegun by name, and I'm a software engineer. Yeah, so at Pitbull, we're trying to solve a problem for companies that actually want to pay their employees in Bitcoin. Most of the solutions that we see around right in our world right now is that there's no solution that keeps tracks of payroll system in Bitcoin. For instance, if you as a company runs a Bitcoin system that you're paying your employee, and you want to confirm how much you've spent in a year or in a cycle, you don't know how to do that unless you go to the Block Explorer and start looking at all the transactions that are happening, which is not really in compact space. Going. No. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So what are we trying to solve here? We're trying to consolidate payroll records, like for instance, your employees record and their salary in the payment cycle, and we're trying to put it in a single place where after you send, we have this record using our system to to consolidate the records in one location, and you can reference them at will at any time you want. And you want to process the payments via Bitcoin Lightning Network as the major payment rails that can foster it. For instance, you just send a Bitcoin to your employee. Your employee can decide to get it in any of the currency that they want in their various country. And we are not trying to revert the wheel, because most of the countries in Africa, I won't say most, a few countries in Africa have these implementations regarding a specific wallet. And some of the users in that country, like maybe in case of Nigeria, we have Bitnob, where they already take care of getting Bitcoin and then getting it inside their bank account for easy usage. So in this case, what we just require from the employee is to get their wallet from Bitnob to send to their employer. So the second one is payments processing, then payroll as a platform for individuals. So we have concerns regarding owning your keys or not owning your keys. So we are looking at helping organizations that actually have technical know-hows. They can decide to run an instance of the application themselves, because it is open source, and where if they have the technical know-how, they can do that. And if they don't have the technical know-how, we can consult for them to help them set it up and train them on how it works. And that's on their own part. But for instance, a single sign-off person, for instance, I want to hire a freelancer. I don't need to run an instance myself. I can just log in on the platform, get my Bitcoin from Bitpayroll, or order. You can order your Bitcoin from Bitpayroll, then send to your employee, maybe based on contract or any other thing. So how it works: first you create an account, maybe as an organization, you create an account, then you create a wallet and you fund it, maybe from Bitpayroll, and then you can invite your employee. You invite them by their email, and when your employee get the emails, what do? They get their wallet address from their favorite wallets, which they can easily convert money to their local currency. When they get that, once the payment cycle reach, they get the money in their favorite wallets. So our approach, self-custody, like I said earlier, we are allowing organizations to be able to run an instance on their own and manage everything on their own hand, given the configurations to run the entire software. And then we are trying to provide liquidity too, as part of also for us making money. And then payment as a platform, like I said, for individuals that cannot run an instance themselves. So meet the team. So we are a team of 4, actually. I'm the only backend engineer currently, and I'm moving fast to develop the entire backend infrastructure and the DevOps. I have 2 front-end engineer and then a UI UX designer. And spoiler, the QR code leads somewhere. You can scan it. Some leads to the website, to the platform where you can test, and some leads to our Figma design, because everything is open source. We're building in the open. So, and our product timeline, we started this project in November. And between November and February, we are building and we're developing and testing each of the components, because we're based over, we're integrating different components from different services to make it work. And by March, we are looking at launching our beta and, get feedbacks from people that are testing, and we try to iterate. And then by June, we're looking at launching the platform in general. And lastly, what are the technologies we're using? TypeScript, Node.js, React, Prisma, Bitcore, and LND, Lightning Node. And yeah, we talk about model too. How we're looking at getting money from routing fee, because if you're processing payments for companies, we must run a node on Lightning Network, and from there we can get fees from routing for other nodes too, and the entire Lightning Network. Then open source licensing, for the fact that some will be getting their instance run by themselves, we can get more funding from there. And then payments processing, we can get funding from there too. And thank you very much. So you can check the project out. It's on GitHub. It's open source. Anybody can contribute if you're interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Can we give one big round of applause to all the teams that presented? They've tried to compress months of work in 3 to 5 minutes of presentations. Unfortunately, we can't ask questions from them in here, but the reason why we wanted them to pitch is because we know some of the people they need to speak to, some of the support they need, some of the investment they need are in this room. So if there's any of the ideas that you have an interest in finding out more about or supporting, you can either reach out to the makers, or if they're not here, you can also reach out to me and I can put you in touch with them. Tomorrow, I think second to last session of the day, we'll be announcing the winners of the Build for Africa Hackathon. So like I said, the first prize is going to win $5,000 in SATs. Second prize, 2,500 in SATs. Third prize, 1,500 in SATs. And then we'll have a special design prize. And then they'll also be on the line for the global prize, which is 1 BTC for the winner and half a BTC for the runners-up. Thank you all very much. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much to the amazing teams. This is the moment where I wish I was a VC, or I wish I had enough money to invest. I have a couple that I would really love to support. But like, to all the teams, if you need any marketing support, please reach out. I'm happy to help. So thank you so much again to the people who put in for the Legends of Lightning tournament. I think it's been amazing in these past couple of weeks. But we are here with the final panel for day 2 of the Africa Bitcoin Conference. And the panel...
Eddie, awesome work. Awesome work. Big congratulations to you. How are you feeling about that? Seeing all those projects there.
Damn, that was pretty amazing. That really was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it was so cool to see so many of them in the flesh. I mean, so many of the people we've been interacting with for the last couple of months, right, have just been these avatars behind screens in Discord on the platform. So yeah, that was really cool to see them there live pitching their projects. If anyone is on the ground at the conference, please feel free to just go give them a pat on the back, round of applause, a big hug from us. As Mary and Femi said at the end there as well, some of these projects, to keep them alive, like a lot of good projects, they're going to need funding, they're going to need support. So if you are interested in any of those projects, if you want to support them, please don't hesitate. Go talk to some of the founders. I think they're going to be there. I think maybe even there's going to be a convergence in some sort of conference room for some of them to talk to. But yeah, I was really impressed by just like the level of building. I mean, that was interesting to see because obviously there were like pitches there, and I'm really glad people got into like the pitch kind of appetite of stuff. But there were also a lot of projects, right? Like actual products that were built. So if you haven't checked them out yet, feel free to go and check out some of those projects. Just go to makers.bolt.fun. Follow all the way through to the tournament page. And then once you're on the tournament page, you'll see a projects tab, which has about 73 projects in it. You can filter by the Building for Africa track, and then you can check them out there. There are also a few other projects which entered as well, so hats off to some of those guys. So thank you, all of the people that took part. Go try out their products, test them out, give them some feedback, and definitely give them support, right? Because, when we talk about what Bolt Fun is, we're a community of makers. We're trying to incubate projects and tools built on Bitcoin and Lightning. But these tools, these products, they need testers, right? They need their first 100, 200 testers. They need some feedback. Those feedback needs to get given to the product team, and that's how we're going to make these things a lot better. So please go try them out, test them out, and yeah, show them a lot of support. But John, you had any particular thoughts on some of those projects, or maybe we can even talk about just generally like the Building for Africa track, why we sort of think that this is an important thing to focus on as well. There's clearly quite a bit of interest from some of these companies in for building solutions for Africa. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think Africa is one of those like places. It's segmented by a bunch of different countries and stuff. And a lot of these countries have like huge populations. I think like Nigeria is definitely climbing up. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to pull out the numbers right now, but I think it was something of like the majority of people in Nigeria specifically are like, like teens and adults, right? They have a like really big young population, and that's to your comment before about like designing for the next generation and stuff. I think that really ties into there. Um, like Kenya is very interesting markets. I don't know too much um, about Ghana, but we can definitely see that the use and adoption of Bitcoin for cross-border remittances and payments and stuff, it's super needed. While the local infrastructure, it's typically, I mean, I'm comparing it against St. Lucia in the Caribbean. It's typically pretty good, right? There's like M-Pesa, MTN, and Airtel and stuff like that. The Nigerian banks are pretty instant, at least interbank transfers. I don't know bank to bank there. Um, but it's the paying for things internationally or getting paid internationally, which becomes the problem. Because you have such a young population and a bunch of people who are working online and remotely and stuff there, especially, it's just super ripe for Bitcoin adoption, right? Especially with this cross-border settlement kind of narrative or whatever. So yeah, Nigeria also had one of the first unicorns as well. I think it was called Paystack. Stripe, oh yeah, Stripe, the payment processor. They invested like $200 million into that project. Paystack is kind of like the Stripe for Nigeria, and just that market, I think, and they invested 200 million. So things are definitely kind of heating up in the fintech space, and it's super exciting. I just hope we get less shitcoinery and more bitcoinery. Ooh, nice. That one.
Hey man, we were talking about some taglines earlier, right? So,
right, there we go.
I
Yeah.
think that one's a good one. Yeah, I was trying to find this tweet from I think it was Calais actually that did it. He was talking about the remittance market, right? And I think it might have been the IMF they were quoting how big these markets were, and basically how much it was going to grow in the next 5 years. And it was actually it was crazy. It was pretty much doubling in like the next 3 to 5 years just by itself. So, you spoke about remittance. That's obviously super important. And also, the touch on like the young people there. Very true. I mean, like Toby in his talk alone, he was talking about 60% of people on the continent are below the age of 25, right? So that's always a good statistic to pull out as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm hyped for a lot of these projects. I think we're going to see some really good stuff. And as Andrew said there in the comments, the kids are going to be all right. I also believe we're in a bear market now, but everyone's building. It's so great to see all of this like developer interest and support. And I think again, big shout out to a lot of the folks who helped mentor some of these teams. I know that some of you guys are probably sitting in the comments. A lot of the folks from Galoy, Voltage, sorry, Carla, yeah, exactly. A lot of the team at Carla helping some of these people through. So yeah, without these people, it wouldn't really be possible. And I think that it's time, we're ready for like the next wave, the next generation of Bitcoin developers coming out of Africa and solutions that are coming. You mentioned that unicorn earlier, but why not another one?
Yeah, well, we need some Bitcoin unicorns.
Yeah, is it called like a boonicorn? Or... Anyway, I see Arvin's comment there. We are the Yeah, we did. We actually just like a few minutes before the end there, we just like plugged it back in and put the waffle machine just on like a low heat.
Well, let's turn it up. Do we turn it up, or do we take a break until the next until the
I
next
don't
session?
know.
Actually,
I don't know.
What's coming up before we start? We turn the heat up on the waffle. Let's
Okay,
figure
yeah.
out
Before we start,
what's happening first.
do waffle first. Okay, so next up is gonna be the Global Adoption Finals. So in about 40 minutes time, so at 5:45, Universal Coordinated Time, or GMT for the Brits. Big up the Greenwich. Yeah, so in 40 minutes time, we're going to be doing the Global Adoption Finals. We had 61 projects in total enter this track, and we had 10 finalists. We're going to do a little bit of waffling at the start, as we always do. We're going to introduce them, and then we're going to get straight into them. So we'll have about 15 minutes each for each project, given that our transitions are going to be silky smooth. We got some really exciting ones to take a look at. I think there's been a lot of attention on some of them, actually all of them, really. I think the standard of building, I think we can agree this time around, Johns, has been unbelievable. Like, don't get me wrong, the standard of our last Shock the Web hackathons were also really great, but that was like people had a week max, right, to build on their projects. They were web only, so there was a limited amount that people can do within that time. The traditional sort of hackathon style, but these tournaments are different. People are sort of they're incubating ideas, they're building on projects, they're building their teams, they're learning in and around the maker communities, they're learning to build, they're building in public. So the amount of like the quality has just been staggering. I think I was definitely blown away by a lot of it. So I'm really looking forward to hearing some of those. So that's going to be in about 40 minutes time. We'll be back on YouTube. We'll be tweeting out the live stream link shortly. It should already be on our Twitter as well, by the way. But it's going to be more of the same. But we're just going to be looking at some different projects, different crowd. It's going to be global adoption rather than focusing solely on African solutions. And who knows, maybe I'll be wearing a different hat from a different unofficial sponsor. But yeah, I mean, shout out to the Galoy guys. I mean, I was really gunning for a Galoy hat, but if anyone wants to send me free merch, I'll give you some free advertisement on these calls. So
hey, I thought you said we were trying to like monetize and stuff going into next year. It's like we try to be sustainable, man.
This is value for value, man.
Value for value. Fair enough. Putting the proof of work first. No, and for like projects that and makers, builders who are participating, who didn't make it to the finalists, this is just like one part of this. There's a whole thing that's going on. You built your first version, some of you, there's some really cool stuff that we have planned going into next year. This is just one part of the whole mechanism here, and we especially want to like encourage you, even without like tournaments or whatever, just keep on building, keep on pursuing your dreams. It's super important. YOLO.
Definitely. Yeah, and as you said, more things to come next year. I've seen quite a few people jumping into the community in the last even just like the last week. Quite a few people. It's really cool, we've got some people jumping in who are like, oh, I've come from a different developer background, or screw the shit coins, I'm done with them, let's Bitcoin only. So there are more people coming in, they're looking to take part in these tournaments. So for those people who are watching, fear not, we have more events coming up next year. Also for people who took part this time round, the doors are still open. You can still take part in the next ones. These things are built to have fun. They're built to like help you guys in your projects, incubate and accelerate them, and get them out of the door and into the community where they deserve to be living, so that you can show off your proof of work, right?
Yeah, and also, you can hit up Fulgur Ventures because, like they're looking to invest in stuff. So there's one-on-one calls that you could do, office hours, with Oleg and the Fulgur Venture teams. So yeah, link them up, fulgur.ventures, and give them a pitch. Like I said, we have some very interesting things coming up as well. I'm super excited. This is basically me announcing the announcement. Don't tell anyone.
I think I just got a free hat from Andrew, so thank you, dude. A t-shirt as well would also be good. I do have a really comfy Galoy t-shirt that I like, but I wasn't allowed to wear it today. So
okay, so the backstory is like we were in Istanbul and the whole Peak Shift team got like Galoy shirts, and we had just printed like Peak Shift shirts, but no one's wearing the Peak Shift shirts. So I just felt a little like hurt there. Okay, it was a little painful.
Those Galoy ones, man, they're like pure organic cotton. It's just like, they're crazy soft, super flexible, you know, really durant to sweat, even though they're gray. I feel like this is a Galoy advert right now. But again, you know, free advertising, guys. Just send me your merch. Okay. I've also got space on my microphone for stickers and stuff. So just
you just need clean clothes. What are you talking about? You just need clean clothes.
Yeah, I'm just having fun staying poor, you know. So
yeah. There you go. Yeah. Stack sets instead. You don't need clothes.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll stop the waffling there because we got plenty more to come later tonight. But thank you again to everyone that took part. We are back tomorrow, by the way, probably the most important part of this announcement. We're going to be announcing the winners tomorrow. So I think at 4 p.m. GMT, given the if there are any delays or whatever at the conference, but I think Femi is going to be up on stage announcing the winners from the African Bitcoin conference, from the Building for Africa track, which, as he mentioned, we've got 4 prizes there: first, second, third, and best design. And then immediately afterwards, kind of like today, we're just going to be hopping back in and we're going to be announcing the winners of the global adoption track and then the grand prizes as well. So it's going to be 1 Bitcoin to the legend, who is like the overall winner. And then we've got 2 runners up who are going to be bagging half a Bitcoin each. So pretty huge prizes. Don't miss it. So we'll be starting tomorrow, I think at about 4 p.m. GMT. So
tweet out about it as well. You know, like we're trying to get to that 2,000 mark on the Twitter. That's what you said, right, Ed? Before the event finishes. Right, so you know, boldfun_BTC. Let's go. You see, you need to do Ed, that's the thing, you know, that's why we need to get somebody on like Grow for Marketing and stuff like that. You can't be shilling like other projects, and like we need to shill ours still, you know. Come on, man.
Oh man, BitConnect.
Okay. Stream.
Because someone's gonna send me an FTX hat, and then I'm gonna wear it. Let's stop. Okay. All right, guys. We'll catch you soon in about 35 minutes. We'll see you soon.